Taylor Rapp here from the LA Rams. Shout out to Steve Taylor, the real sports guy, and the honorary Ram. When Steve's talks sports, you better listen. Thanks, Steve from the Rams, for your continued support and love. We are taking it all the way this year, but you already know that. Go Rams.
It's Albert Prince Bell, 21-0, checking in, and you rocking with Keeping It Real Sports. And we gonna be on these. We're gonna be here a lot of times. I love the platform. Check in. It's the new wave. Like, follow, subscribe, and do all that good stuff.
Sports. Well, it's Saturday morning. Hockey is still going on, and so are we. I'm the real sports guy, Steve Taylor. He's the Sandman, Andy Sanzada. Sandman, another week in the books.
Another week in the books, Steve. Another show to get to and plenty of content. So let's get right in it with what we call the quick hit.
So much to talk about, so much to go. Let's rock what we. Quick hitters.
All right, Steve. Now, this is episode 39 of our show, okay? And I think this is the first time that a single sport has dominated the headlines for 3 consecutive weeks. And you know where I'm going with this, because we got to keep talking about it because everybody else is, and it's the LIV Golf Tour. They did it again, Steve. The biggest name yet, maybe, with Brooks Koepka. A reported $150 million contract to go play with LIV. I know how you feel about the money. Let's talk about the impact that this move has on both tours.
Well, at some point, the PGA is going to have to say, we're going to have to work with these dudes, man, because the big names are going. I mean, y'all can keep talking about these big tournaments and the PGA tournaments, but what's the PGA tournament without Brooksy? What's a PGA tournament without Johnson? What's a PGA tournament without Mickelson? Man, dude, you're going to have to deal with these cats, man, because it's going to keep happening. So look here, bite the bullet and deal with it.
Well, I think that the PGA is taking a step in that direction because they're raising their purses to try to prevent these guys from moving.
Yeah, you got that, huh?
So
the PGA is I shot you a text earlier this week where the PGA is starting to up the ante, and they seeing where they're falling short. But dude, y'all can kick them purses up all you want, man. The LIV has got that's guaranteed money, man.
I understand that, but let's talk about the PGA here because we have to talk about this young man. Matthew Fitzpatrick wins his first ever, Steve, his first ever tournament, and it's a major. He wins the U.S. Open. He becomes the second person ever to win the U.S. Amateur and the U.S. Open on the same course. He's in the books with Jack Nicklaus. That's pretty special. No amount of money is going to replace something like that. And this was an outstanding performance on a very tough course. I watched every minute of the final round. Rory had his chance to make a run. He just couldn't do it. John Rahm completely fell apart, and it was down to Will Zalatoris and Fitzpatrick, and Zalatoris just missed, on the left edge to tie it and force a playoff. So,
He choked.
Yeah, he did. Again, I hate the fact that that's his reputation, but in all honesty, he admitted it, but this one hurts a little bit more. I think he was closer to this than he was to the PGA.
Hey, I'd just like to ask Fitzpatrick, what would mean more to you? Being mentioned with Jack Nicklaus or getting that $150 million guaranteed? I'm just saying, bro.
Listen, man, money isn't everything to everybody. Just remember that, okay? All right, and then we're going to wrap up golf here with a really big announcement that also happened this week. Nick Faldo has decided that this is it for him. He's going to retire from CBS after 16 years in the booth. August 7th will be his final broadcast. He'll be replaced by the former Masters winner Trevor Immelman. who's done an outstanding job. You can tell that this was in the works, Steve. They started moving Immelman in more and more. I think it's a great fit. I think he's going to do very well with Jim Nantz. But how about the broadcasting career of the Hall of Famer, Nick Faldo?
Well, I mean, the dude is a HOF. He's a Hall of Famer, man. But the transition is going to be seamless, man. You know, I mean, when you're in there with the best, Jim Nantz is the best, period, in the story.
Yeah, it's not even close. Yep, exactly. And, you know, he said he's 65 now, Steve. He wants to go and live on his farm in Montana, spend time with his wife and his family.
Understood.
And, you know, I don't blame him. He's had an amazing career on and off the course, for sure. All right, let's move to the world of football now. The NFL had some news this week, and the fact that Larry Ogunjobi jumps divisional rivals and goes to the Steelers. This is a pretty big move, Steve.
Again, so he's been with 3 of the 4 teams in that division. The only team is Baltimore, and they're on deck. I'm just hearing. So,
yeah, you might be right about that. I think that'd be kind of cool to be able to say I played for every team in the division. But this is a big get for the Steelers. Honestly, it is, because they don't have a quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. They don't have a quarterback.
Hey, man, look. The Steelers are going to be a lot better than what you think, man. I'm going to say, you can say whatever you want to say about Pittsburgh, and I know you really don't really care for Pittsburgh, and I get that. But what I'm telling you, Andy, is the Pittsburgh Steelers under Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. Now let that just sink in for a moment. They never had a losing season, and they ain't going to start happening this year.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. We'll get into that closer to the training camp.
See, you know, there you go.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you, my brother.
All right, well, here we go, Steve. We got some playoff action this weekend. How about that? USFL playoffs start, and the Birmingham Stallions are the odds-on favorite to win. I think they're, what are they, 9-1, 10-1, something like that? 9-2, I don't know. I haven't been following this.
9-1.
Okay, there you go.
They finally dropped one. The only loss that New Jersey has is against them, and that was the first week of the season. So both teams are 9-1. What you're starting to see is good quality football. People, this is right down the street in Canton. You can go down there. Tickets are like $10, $15 to get into these games. It's very doable. I got a host of friends that are going down there to the championship game next week, man. But this is very doable. This is historic. This is good football. And I tell you, you got some guys, man, that are going to get some good looks, man, from some NFL teams.
Yeah, you know, and I think that's the beauty of the league, is that it's like a training camp before training camp, right? These guys get a chance to prove to themselves and prove also to the teams that are looking to fill spots that, you know, they're a viable option. I mean, I'd rather have a guy that has been on the field recently than somebody that was sitting at home on the couch waiting for a phone call. That's just me.
I get what you're saying. Luis Perez, man, my God, he's a former Ram up under the McVay watch. Okay. Another one of those guys, Luis Perez. I'm just saying, guys.
Well, speaking of watch, how about we watch what happens now at the University of Texas? Because Eli and Peyton's nephew is going to head there and try to turn that program around. I don't think there's any surprise here, Steve. I feel like this was his top choice all along. I think that he just allowed everybody else to sniff the possibility of signing him. But listen, there's something to a Manning about changing around a franchise, right? Peyton did it when he went to the Colts. Eli did it when he went to the Giants. Eli did it when he went to Ole Miss. And now their nephew, who might have a better arm than both of them, according to reports. I'm not going to believe that. But, he's got a chance to do it at Texas. I don't know if the coach that's there now is the right coach for him. We'll see if that continues to be the
brand,
same,
buddy. It's the brand. It's a big brand, and you have to have a big brand to be against a big brand like this. One thing about this is Edgerrin James's kid is also in line to go there. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
They're talking about redoing history. But, Arch gets to be a senior in high school this year. That was important to the man, to where he could just be a kid this year and not have to worry about all that scrutiny, to where, in the recruiting process, he got it done. Texas is the big winner for now.
Right. I mean, there's always that thing called the transfer portal, right?
There's also that thing that's called flipping a recruit.
Yeah, and I think that there could be a outside possibility that he chose a big school to get a bigger NIL contract.
What Andy? It's a big brand, and that's what I mean when I say big brand.
Yes, I know. All right, Steve. So that'll do it for the quick hitters. You and I were entertaining each other quite a bit during Game 5 last night, so I think it's time to allow everyone else to get a piece of that as well. And let's runneth my cup over, if you would, sir.
Oh, we're gonna runneth over the cup early. We can do that.
All right, as we said, Game 5 last night, the Avs had a chance to clinch the series at home, but they could not get it done. However, they lead the series 3-2. They go back to Tampa tomorrow night for Game 6, and if necessary, come back home again for Game 7 on Tuesday night. This was an entertaining game. However, Steve, I will say this. I felt that there were some calls that
Don't go there.
Yeah, I'm going to go there. Okay?
Don't.
Listen, this is my segment. I'm going to go there. All right? I'm going there. That horseshit call on Cale Makar that allowed Tampa to take a 2-1 lead, to me, was the difference in the hockey game. Now, I will say this. That third goal that Tampa
There we go.
scored,
Let's go with that soft-ass goal, man, in the 7-hole, man. Come on, man.
Temper's got to have that puck. I know he was trying to make a stick save at the 5-hole, but you got to know that it's going to ricochet. The way the puck was bouncing last night, you had to know that it was going to do that. Now, let's go back before last night's game, Steve, and talk about Game 4, because this was an unexpected return for Nazem Kadri. And what does he do? He scores the game winner in overtime. Some say it's controversial because supposedly Colorado had too many men.
Goal!
Yeah, let me tell you this, partner. I know the rules of hockey. I've been around the game for 20 years. Yes, they had too many men, but the reason that they didn't call it is because the sixth skater was halfway on the bench and the puck was 80 feet up the ice and had no impact on the play. Now, last night's too many men, that was an obvious one.
It was too many men.
They had to call that.
9 men on the ice.
Yeah, you had to call that. But in Game 4, no. Everybody knew that he was going to score that goal, and what a shot that was, by the way. Let me just tell you. But Colorado has to understand that you have to put away a champion when you have an opportunity. And I hope, Steve, I really hope that they play as well tomorrow night as they did in the third period and overtime of Game 4 the last time they were at Amalie Arena, which allowed them to win, because it's traditionally happened that the road team hoists the Stanley Cup. Only one home team in the last 6 years has won at home. It was Tampa last year. But I don't know that I consider that a win because they played Montreal and, whatever. That wasn't really a series. It was over in 5. I think the only reason the Canadians won a game was because Carey Price probably stole it. But that was, two teams within the same conference. Right. I don't understand what happened last year. But anyways, I digress. The point of the matter is they better get this done, because I'm not chancing playing the best goalie on the planet in Game 7, regardless of being at home or not.
Andy, you sent me a stat, and you just reiterated. So let me just remind you what you just said. No team has won the cup on its home ice in how long?
5 of the last 6 years.
Okay. Therefore, when I told you the Avs would win it in 6, they're going to win it in 6, and they're going to win it where?
On the road.
There you go. They're going to follow suit.
Let's hope. I know you and I will be completely glued to that one, and the wife, believe it or not, is going to be touched in on that as well. She was enjoying our little.
Oh man, yeah, that was made for TV last night. You know?
It was,
look, that was made for TV. Yeah.
Listen, folks, you might be seeing a little different format here down the road. We're talking about some things, but
yeah, that
was a lot of fun. I will admit. But here's the deal. Colorado hasn't done this before. They have to find a way to do it. And Steve, I hate to tell you this because I don't like the sound of it either, but Darcy Kemper has to go in and steal that game tomorrow night for them to win on the road.
Here's my problem. I told you this last night. I don't want my goalie to be named Darcy.
Yeah.
Like, dude, change your name to D or some shit like that, man. You can't call your goalie Darcy.
Yeah.
D, get that goal. D.
Yeah.
Man, come on.
Or Kemp. Kemp.
Come on, Kemp. Man. Yeah,
stop the puck,
Darcy.
Kemp.
I mean, when that soft goal went in, I'm screaming, Darcy? Are you serious?
Yeah, that was a Darcy goal, wasn't it? Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about what happened earlier in the week before games 4 and 5 as the NHL awards were announced. And no surprise here, I called it all along. Cale Makar wins the Norris Trophy, the best defenseman in the NHL. Steve, he is
the first player to do what?
He could be the first player. He hasn't
will
done it yet.
He will be.
Nobody has ever won the Hobey Baker Award, which is the College Player of the Year, which he won in 2019, and the Conn Smythe, which, Steve, even if they lose, he could be a lock to win. That's how good he's been this playoffs. It wasn't even close. Roman Josi finished second. Victor Hedman finished third. The only reason Josi finished ahead of Hedman was because he scored over 100 points as a defenseman, which is very difficult to do. But Makar is – I've never seen a defenseman skate like him. I've never seen a defenseman pass like him. Yes, Victor Hedman has 2 Stanley Cups. Yes, he's bigger. He can skate. He can shoot. But I just see a different hockey player when I look at Cale Makar. And he is fun to watch. Must-see TV for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the dude is very talented, man. And he's so fast, man. He is so fast. And he's so precise.
Yes.
That's what I like about this kid. He's precise.
And he's not afraid to throw the body either. We've seen him have some big hits in the finals already. And I think he's only going to get stronger. He's only 23, Steve. Look at everything he's doing now. Look out, man. That's the special player right there.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of special, Austin Matthews wins the Hart Trophy as the MVP of the league. Steve, this was an obvious choice. He had 60 goals in the regular season. Again, this is based on regular season results, not the playoffs, because if it was based on the playoffs,
because he is MIA.
No Maple Leaf would win anything, ever. They haven't done it in 17 years. They're not going to start now.
Yeah.
So this one you were a little controversial with the choice. Igor Shesterkin wins the Vezina for the best goalie. You felt it should have gone to the guy in the Stanley Cup right now.
No, you felt it should have went to him. I just asked you, should it have gone to him? I mean, I thought if it wasn't for Shesterkin, man, the Rangers don't get to where they are, man. He is the Rangers, man.
No, you told me Vasilevsky should have won it.
Vasilevsky is the best goalie in hockey.
Yes,
I totally agree with you.
But this award, it's not based on that. It's on one season. And Shesterkin had the best season.
And Shesterkin had a hell of a season. He had a hell of a season.
And you're absolutely right. Without his play and Chris Kreider's 50 goals in the regular season, we don't see the Rangers get as far as they got.
I mean, the Rangers went as far as they did because of Shesterkin. I mean, they really couldn't manufacture goals. When they went against the elite, you saw what happened when they went against the elite. They kind of got swallowed up, man. They got, when you get to the point where you dumping and chasing the puck, man, that means, look, we have nothing else.
Yeah, exactly.
All
right, we got one more award to get to, and then we're going to get right into the NBA draft this week. And how about this, Steve? Somewhat local product, Moritz Seider of the Detroit Red Wings wins the Calder as the Rookie of the Year. Now, I'm not a Red Wings guy. You know that. I'm a Sabres fan, die hard. And I'm closer to Columbus than I am to Detroit. So you've seen a lot of this kid. Talk to me a little bit about his game and why he was able to play so well this year.
Well, hell, Detroit don't have anything else. They when they drafted him, it was like, look, you're my guy. I get it. What the hell else you gonna do? They are the dead things, and I said it.
Yep. And then a couple coaching hires real quick to get to. We saw this one coming. It's official. DeBoer goes to Dallas as their new head coach. This one was a little surprising to me. Paul Maurice ends up going to Florida. And, Andrew Burnett had the Panthers winning the President Trophy. I thought he was going to get the job, but they felt like because of his sweep in the second round, he wasn't ready yet. So they go to a veteran in Maurice, and he's going to do some good things. Watch out for the Panthers next year.
Yeah. See how that works out for you, Panthers. I'm just saying.
All right, so that's it. We're done running over the cup. Before we get to the draft, Steve, we had a big trade in the NBA to announce this week. Jeremy Grant goes from the Pistons over to Portland for a 2025 first-round pick. Now, a lot of people believe this is the type of move that might, let me reiterate that word, might entice Damian Lillard to stick around a little bit longer. Your thoughts on the trade and whether or not that's actually the case?
Well, I love what the Detroit Pistons are doing. They brought in a front office guy from Oklahoma City who is doing a lot of the similar things they're building through the draft. I really like the move that the Pistons have made. It's a young team. Now you got Cade Cunningham. You draft the kid from Purdue at number 4, and then you go and you get Durden. And so you got size, man. You got youth, man. I really like what they did. And Detroit's got to get exciting because they've got to fill up that arena, man. Nobody's going to Piston games.
Listen, with what they did in the draft, they're going to be a tougher opponent this year.
They definitely are. And Jeremy Grant is a scoring machine.
Yeah.
So that's it, man. Hey, look. Let's get into the hurry up, man, and talk college talk hoops.
All right, let's do it.
Hurry up.
All right, so the NBA draft has come and gone. And, Steve, let's take a look at the top 5 picks, do a little breakdown, and then you and I are going to share our thoughts on what the Cavs and the Spurs did as well before we close out the show with Between the Gloves. So let's get right into it. Here we go. We've got our recap of the top 5 picks. Paolo Banchero goes number 1 overall to Orlando. Chet Holmgren, number 2 to Oklahoma City. Jabari Smith falls to number 3 to Houston. Keegan Murray at 4, a good fit in Sacramento, I think. And then Jaden Ivey, who might be the next Ja Morant, goes to Detroit. That's why we said the Pistons are doing some things here, partner. Your thoughts initially on what Orlando did, which a lot of people were caught off guard by, except everybody down there. They really feel like they got their guy that they can build around, Steve. But you and I felt like number 2 should have been number 1.
Well, I definitely did. The thing that jumped out to me, if you pay attention to the way Vegas looks, the money, all of the money, all week had been on Jabari Smith going number 1 overall. Okay? So what happens is about the day before the draft, the money started switching and started going to Paolo Banchero. So if you pay attention to it, you kind of knew that Banchero was going to go number 1, which he eventually did. I like the kid, and I like him in Orlando for what they've done. But I've told you for years, the thing that jumps out to me is Chet Holmgren. Like, dude, I can teach a guy a lot of things. I can put weight on a guy. But what I can't do is I can't teach 7'1" with the ability to shoot the jump shot from the outside. See, I can't teach that. I can teach defensive. I can teach defense. I can't teach a guy to be 7'1", and I can't teach a guy to block shots, man. This guy does it all. He's a natural. He's got the same type of body frame when he came into the NBA as Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah. Giannis was a very thin guy when he got into the league. Look at him. Kevin Durant was a thin guy. Look at what he's done. Like, dude, I'm really not sweating all of that, man. I know what he can do. Chet Holmgren can ball. And you're going to rue today that you didn't take Chet Holmgren number 1 overall.
And Oklahoma City's building a nice team. They got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander down there. They made some other moves on draft night that I think are going to be beneficial. All right, so let's talk about Jabari Smith in Houston with Jalen Green and possibly John Wall, because it sounds like he's interested in staying there and maybe getting on the court next season.
Yeah, what a homer. What a homer. Man, John Wall, if it wasn't for Kyrie Irving, he would be the biggest diva in the NBA.
Yes, he would. Yes,
Period.
I
In the
could
story,
not agree more. Yep.
Man, I am so done with John Wall, and I'm so done with Kyrie Irving, man. He's got Wednesday to decide whether he's going to stick and stay, or go away. And about this time next week, we'll kind of know the state of the New Jersey Nets or the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, and we're going to have
pay attention to that. Just pay attention to it.
Yep. I promise you that'll be one of our main topics in next week's show, without question. Regardless of his decision, we're going to hit that really hard next week. And we're obviously going to be talking about who won the Stanley Cup, because whether it's Game 6 or Game 7, it'll have been completed by the time we're on the air next week. All right, Steve, that's a look at the top 5. Now let's look at what our teams did. I'll start with the Cavs. I thought that they had an outstanding draft. And I gave them a B overall, just because I'm not sure what they did in the late rounds. But I like the fact that they went and got an athletic center to back up Jared Allen, especially with his injury history last year. That could be a really good fit. But you and I agree, Obagi might be the steal of the draft, and he's an absolute perfect fit for what the Cavs need with that 3-and-D wing.
Steal of the draft. I mean, you get a 22-year-old kid, a 4-year starter at Kansas, who's been there and done that and capped his career off with a national championship. So he's a bona fide winner. This kid knows how to get it done. They've got some guys, man, and what I mean by they is Cleveland. They've got some guys that can flat out ball now, man.
Yep.
That Darius Garland, the kid can go. Well, this is the type of kid that can roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with Colin Sexton if he comes back healthy, and whether or not they want to offer him the contract he thinks he deserves. I don't think they're going to do it. I think Garland's definitely going to get the extension, and I think
he's out like a scout on a new route. I'm telling you.
I think you could see number 23 in the year 2023, but we'll get into that a lot later. All right, let's look at what the Spurs did. You were really happy with their draft. You gave them a little bit higher grade, a B+. They get a couple of wings, which they needed. The Ohio State product, Malachi Branham, goes to San Antonio. What a great fit that's going to be for him and the leadership he's going to get there under Greg Popovich. He goes from one great coach to another, Chris Holtmann to Popovich. And then Blake Wesley, who a lot of people don't know about, Steve, but I think this could be a sleeper in the draft, especially with the fit over in San Antonio.
See, what we're trying to do in San Antonio, people, is generate guys that can switch on defense. And we saw that take place just a couple of weeks ago, where the Warriors, they switched everything. They have put a 5-on-1 and a deal with it. These are the type of guys that we got. So at the top of the draft, for us getting SoCon, I absolutely love it. He's a 6'10" kid with the ability to guard 1 through 5. He can shoot the ball from distance, and he can generate his own shot. That's what San Antonio don't have, is a lot of guys that can generate their own shot. Now we start to bring guys in that can generate their own shot. Malachi Branham, bingo, another guy that can generate his own shot. Long arm guy on the wing that can defend multiple positions. You get the kid from Notre Dame that can generate his own shot, shoot it from distance, but he can defend multiple positions. This is the type of team that we're starting to build with DeAndre Murray and company. Look out for my Spurs, because we coming, people.
All right, and one more story that we have to talk about before we wrap up the NBA draft. How about this? How about this? Toledo's own Ryan Rollins goes to Golden State, Steve. Of all places, he gets to go to the defending champs and back up Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And, I think he might have a chance to make the roster. You think they're going to put him down in the developmental league? Either way, what a great organization for him to start his NBA career.
He gets to go to a first-class organization that does things right, that develops their players, because they develop from within. Very rarely do they go outside of the Warriors' way to bring in guys. When they do, those guys hit. We saw him bring in Durant, he hit. We saw him bring in Mitchell Wiggins, kid, he hit. I don't know why I don't never call that kid Andrew Wiggins.
I don't know either. You're driving me nuts with that, by the way.
Because I remember Mitchell Wiggins. He won a championship with the Rockets.
Okay, that's fine. But now his son, Andrew Wiggins, just won a championship with the Warriors. So there you go.
Yeah, Mitchell Wiggins, kid. It sounds better.
Speaking of hitting, Steve, I think it's time to go between the gloves before we say goodbye today.
Man, we got so much going on, man. Let's do it, guys. Let's do it. So, man, between the gloves this week, man, and I tell you, the funny thing to me is the guy from Cincinnati, man. Let's just start there with the problem. Adrian Broner. Hey, AB, he's fighting next month. He's fighting Figueroa next month in Figueroa, July 23rd. But he reaches out for Floyd Mayweather for help. For not just this upcoming fight, Andy, but to help him out on his career. So I got to thinking, what can Floyd Mayweather do to help him? Well, he doesn't. When he moved up to 147, the punching power didn't move up with him, okay? Nor did your ability to punch in bunches move up. So the only thing that Floyd Mayweather could possibly do to help your career is move you back down to where you were more dominant at 135. And I don't think that's going to happen. So, bro, I hate to be the guy to tell you, but Adrian, you got a problem. Just saying.
All right, we got a big matchup on the women's side, huh?
Man, you know what? Shields and Marshall finally set. Marshall defeated Shields as an amateur. So she's won the only fight over Clarissa Shields. Shields owns 3 of the belts. Marshall has 1 of the belts. They're all going to get together. It's been a lot of talk going on between the two women. I personally called Clarissa Shields' first championship fight. The WBC belt that she's wearing, you see the green belt. I had a chance to call that championship fight. It's going to be real interesting because this ain't going to be a walkover for Clarissa Shields. And for some reason, her punching power doesn't seem to carry over. She punches in bunches, but the knockouts aren't there. So with Marshall's ability to punch hard, it's going to be real good. I mean, I like Shields. Margin.
Okay, so it sounds like this is going to come down to a judge's card, huh?
Well, good.
All right. Speaking of that, let's go right into this, which was just announced yesterday. It's official.
It's actually official now. Triple G against Canelo. Canelo running his mouth. People that's followed this trilogy really know the first one was a draw. Everyone thought that Triple G won that one. The second one went to Canelo. I also thought Triple G won that one. And if you look at the punch box count on both of those fights, Triple G landed more punches in both of those fights. So I really don't understand how Canelo won it. But Canelo is saying that Triple G's an asshole. Dude, you gonna get what you finally deserve. You gonna get it.
I'll tell you what, the one thing, you obviously follow boxing a lot more than I do, but you have piqued my interest, and obviously I try to stay on top of it a little bit for the content of the show. Shut him up, please. Just shut him up.
Yeah. Dude,
like, enough already, right?
Yeah. We're so over you, Canelo. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to call you.
Bye, Felicia. Bye.
Yeah. Mama named him Saul. I'm going to call you Saul. Bye, Saul. And you know what happened to Saul.
Oh yeah. All right, and then we can't close out the Between the Gloves without the big one next week. I know we're going to probably talk about this in next week's show as well, but Steve, this is one of the biggest UFC fight cards in a long time, so it deserves 2 shows worth. Tell me a little bit about how special this is going to be next Saturday night.
Oh man, well, everyone knows that follows the show knows that I am the last style bender. Israel Adesanya is the most dynamic fighter in the UFC. Period. In the story, it's not close. People, you have to watch this guy. He can't miss entertainment. Jared Cannonier. I mean. Usually I would like Jared. I don't like Jared in this one, man. I just don't like Jared. He's just tailor-made for him. Holloway, that's going to be an interesting fight. That's going to be a real interesting fight. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll break down the matchups more so next week. I can't wait to get into that. But there you go, man. There's Between the Gloves.
All right, so that'll do it for this one, episode 39. Steve, we're coming up on number 40. I decided
40,
I think
man. Yeah.
I think 50 is the
50.
celebratory.
50
is the celebratory
50.
broadcast, right? But make sure
that'll
you
be right around Yeah, I see that. Yeah. You make sure you like.
subscribe.
You like. And then there we go, right there.
There we
right
go.
there.
Yep.
There
yep.
we go, right there.
Yeah. So
Subscribe,
listen,
man.
we
Subscribe and all
appreciate
that good
all the
stuff.
support we've been getting. We continue to get. We know it's got to build up, right, for it to take off, but we feel like we're headed in
We
that
stand with it.
direction.
Stand
And
with
we
it.
just hope that more than anything, folks, you enjoy the show, because that's why we do this. We don't get paid. That doesn't matter to us. We love doing this for you. We have fun doing it together. We are like brothers, whether you want to actually believe that or not. Steve and I have known each other for over 20 years, and our families are families. And that's just us being genuine. On what you see is what you get. If you were to meet us off camera, we would be the same way. So we just really hope you've enjoyed it all. And with that being said, I think it's time to wish everybody a lot of love
And peace. Deuces. See you next week.